340. That's not true. It's not on this page. Page 344.
unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God.
Shiru la Adonai, Shir Chadash, sing a new song unto God. That's the work that we are here to do on Shabbat, is to find a new song. Sometimes it's been a wonderful week, and the song that we sing is the new song of gratitude for the wonders that have passed. Sometimes it's been a difficult week, and the new song we sing is just clarity as we move forward. Sometimes, most of the time, it's been both, and we need a song that combines the highs and the lows as we seek to harmonize our days and our weeks. Whatever song it is that you are here to sing on this Shabbat, we are glad to be getting to sing it with you. We want to encourage you to turn off your cell phones and your pagers and anything that's going to distract you from that song as we get ready to sing together. We're going to begin this evening by inviting up Susie Dom to lead us in the lighting of candles, the reading for which can be found on page 3.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As the brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
I am one wedding into a 2-wedding weekend. I did a wedding this afternoon, and I'm doing a wedding tomorrow night, which is not bad practice, and a wonderful opportunity. And so I'm getting to see a lot of brides, and I'm getting to see the nervous jitters of brides and grooms. And the way that even though they know each other really well, they feel nervous somehow when they see each other on that day. And I wonder if maybe we could feel that way on Shabbat. Lechato D describes Shabbat as a bride that we stand and welcome in the last verse of Lechato D. And so if the Shabbat is the bride, we are the groom, what if we imagined ourselves with those same nervous jitters? Even though we know Shabbat really well, even though this is not our first rodeo, as it were, what if we were anxiously awaiting our bride? What if we were feeling joy and trepidation? How will this Shabbat be different? How will this Shabbat change our lives? We turn to page 20 for Lechato D, ready and nervous to receive the bride. We'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we get to that 9th verse, that's the moment the bride enters. We'll stand, we'll turn, we'll face the back and welcome her, ready to greet our bride. Page 20.
Lecha lecha dudi, vikat vikat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha lecha dudi, vikat vikat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dudi, vikat vikat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dudi, vikat vikat kala. Shabbat mikabela, Shamor v'zachor b'diborecha, Ishme'anu el ha'meyuchad, Adonai echad, Shemo echad, Shemo tiferet v'nitila la la la, L'chadoti likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat mikabela, L'chadoti Penei Shabbat nikabela, Nikat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Kor habracha, Merosh v'kendem nesucha, Sofa aseh v'machshava tchila la la, L'chadoti nikrat kala, Penei Shabbat nikabela, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nikabela. Itorevi, Uri, Uri, Shir Daveri, Kivod Adonai alayich nigila la la. Penei Shabbat nikabela, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nikabela. Here she comes. Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam v'simcha, u'v'tzohala. Toch emunei am segula, boicha la la la, L'chadoti likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nikabela, L'chadoti likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nikabela la la.
While you are still standing, having greeted the Sabbath bride, now we turn and greet the other grooms. Turn to someone you don't know, introduce yourself, wish them Shabbat Shalom. We continue with the Baruch Hu on page 28. The next prayer, Ma'ariv Aravim, is a prayer about creation. I always try and see if I can find a good poem about creation. This week's poem is called Make Believe, and it's by an Irish author who's got so many chicks in his name that I'm not even going to try, because I feel like I'd do a greater disservice by trying to pronounce his name. But the poem's called Make Believe, and it goes like this. And on the first day, God made something up. Then everything came along. Seconds, sex and breasts and breath and rabies, hunger, healing, lust and lust's rejections. Swarming things that swarm inside the dirt, girth and grind, rings inside the tree trunk and branches broken by the snow, pigs' hearts and stars, mystery, suspense and stingrays, insects, blood and interests and death. And eventually, us. With all our viruses and laments and curiosities, all our songs and made-up stories, and our songs about the stories we've forgotten, and all that we've forgotten. And to hold it all together, God made time and those rhyming seasons that display decay. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Pray with me in the middle of page 33. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'otecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh Asher Anochi Mitzavecha Hayom Al Levavecha Veshinantam Levanecha V'dibarta Ba'am V'shivtecha B'veitecha U'v'lechtecha B'derech U'shochbecha U'v'kumecha Ukshartam leot al yadecha, vehayu letotafot beineinecha, uchtavtam mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha.
Leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani
Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzei'ti etchem
me'eretz Mitzrayim lehiot lachem Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
A prayer in gratitude of freedom on page 40, Micha Mocha. On page 42, Hashkivenu.
Shalom, shalom, Amiteinu Shoreinu Lechayim. Fros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Fros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'shalom, L'shalom, L'hamidenu Shoreinu L'chayim. Fros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Fros aleinu sukat shlomecha. us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
For the gift of Shabbat, that bride to which we have been wed, on page 44, Vishamru.
Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. בני בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה
Adonai,
עשה
Adonai,
את
את השמיים ואת הארץ. את השבת, לעשות את השבת.
לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי
שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי
נפש. ושמרו בני
ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Beginning on the next page is the central part of our service, page 46, the Amidah, which literally means the standing prayer. Because Judaism challenges us with the question, what do you stand for? Whether we rise in body or in spirit, we are not given the option to stay silent. We are not given the option to not have convictions. The Amidah challenges us to stand for something. We rise as we are able on page 46 for the Amidah.
tivta. Hananana ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai Tzadai tivta. Ufi agim tehilatecha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham
Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov
Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot U'Mevi Geula Livnei B'neihem Lema'an Shemo B'Yahava Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayei HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed Mechayei HaKol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim V'Rofei Cholim U'Matir Asurim U'Mekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot U'Midom Melach Melech Meimit U'Mechayeh U'Matzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh hakol Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh U'kedoshim b'chol yom yahalalu chasela Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
Page 55, pray with me at the top of the page. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. A prayer for peace, Shalom Rav, on page 60.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Avcha Taksim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Avcha Taksim Le'olam.
This week was Rosh Chodesh Adar Bet, the celebration of the beginning of the second Adar. It's a leap year. There's a saying in Judaism, Misha Niknas Adar Marbim B'Simcha. Anyone who enters Adar goes up in joy. Adar is supposed to be a happy, joyous month. It's the month that Purim is in. We are gearing up for Purim. We are trying to be joyful and happy. And just the fact that it's that month is supposed to make us happy. So we're going to take a moment now for silent prayer. And if you can't think of anything to say in silent prayer, my challenge to you today is to try and think of 5 things that make you abundantly happy.
Oh, say shalom, shalom, Rama. Oh, say shalom, Hallelujah. Israel, Amen. Oh, say shalom, shalom in Ramah. Oh, yeah, say shalom, hallelujah. Ve'al Israel, say shalom, shalom in Ramah. Oh, yeah, say shalom, hallelujah. Ve'al Israel,
We turn our prayerful energies now to those who are in need of healing. Not only those who are recovering from an illness, those who are dealing with chronic pain, but also their caregivers and loved ones, those who take care of them and who struggle in their own way. We are offering strength and hope for wholeness. We are offering strength to those who are in recovery, those who are lost, those who struggle, with the words of Misha Beirach. In our community, we're praying for Florence Berger, Barbara Berkowitz, Bradley Borden, James Brunmet, Melba Berman, Stephanie Dimas, Jeffrey Feinstein, Alan Garber, Don Graubart, Sarah James, Gail Jansen, Paul Kenberg, Beverly Kovnat, Lawrence Levy, Michael Marcoux, Evelyn Muntz, Mark Petrovsky, Carl Ross, Marilyn Shapiro, Haskell Simon, Steve Weingarten, Roger Williams, Yisrael Moshe ben Ruta Masha, Balia bat Baruch Vahuda, Shoshana bat Chana, and Ephraim ben Yehuda. The words of Misha Beirach are found on page 253. A few brief announcements for this Shabbat, all of which can be found in greater detail in your Shabbat handout. This week's wine and challah, which we will bless at the end of our service, were provided by our sisterhood. I would point your attention to three things. Our My Generation and the Classics groups have social events planned for following services next week. More information can be found in the handout. We, as a congregation, are a part of RAC Texas, the Religious Action Center of Texas, which is bringing together Reformed Jewish voices from all over the state to advocate on a variety of issues. But the primary one for this legislative session is school finance reform. So if you would like to be involved in that conversation, there are two ways you can do it. One is by participating in a lunch and learn conversation next Saturday after services at noon on the 16th. Please sign up online so we know how much lunch to buy through our website. Or, not mutually exclusive, to join us on March 26th at the Advocacy Day in Austin. More than 100 Reformed Jews from all over the state, God willing, are going to come together to advocate for school finance reform. We are hoping to have a nice delegation from Emanu. So if that's an issue about which you're passionate, I hope you'll join us. Please see me after services or email me for details. And lastly, space is quickly running out for our evening with renowned speaker Reverend William Barber on Wednesday, March 27th at 7:30 p.m. Over 80% of the seats for our combined Barish Sanctuary Feld Hall are already accounted for. This event will hit capacity, and we are asking, please, 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 if you plan to come, register online so we can be assured that you have a seat. The Israelites had been working tirelessly on the Mishkan for almost 6 months. The entire community had come together for nearly half a year to construct a portable sanctuary, a dwelling place for God in the wilderness. And when the work was finished, they brought all the materials to Moses and assembled the tabernacle for the first time. And the Torah says when Moses finished the work, the cloud covered the tent, and the presence of the Eternal filled the tabernacle. Commenting on this verse, Sforno writes that God's presence filled the tabernacle the exact instant that all the work necessary was completed. Months before, on Mount Sinai, God had said, "Have them build me a sanctuary that I might dwell among them." And the instant that they were finished, God fulfilled God's part of the project, suffusing the tabernacle with God's indwelling presence. Lesson: when you create space for holiness, holiness rushes in. Yesterday, one of my rabbinical school classmates, Rabbi Emily Langwitz, was invited back to our alma mater to offer the sermon at our Founders Day celebration. She was there to speak about her grandfather, Dr. Eugene Borowitz, one of the most important Jewish theologians of the 20th century. And in his honor, the school had asked her to present her own 21st century theology as it related to his. She spoke beautifully about how the founding of our movement was, from the very beginnings, about committing ourselves to the ethics of the prophets, speaking out with a clarion clear voice on the justice issues of our day. And she spoke of the work of Rabbi Borowitz, who wrote about what he called covenantal theology, the obligation that every Jew strive for intimate relationship with a living God that is infused with mutual responsibility and obligation. But to these two commitments, ethics and covenant, she also wanted to add a commitment of her own, a third story built on the strong foundation. Based on the work of feminist theologians, Rabbi Langowitz declared that we are also obligated to our silences. She explained, in this time of greater awareness of the nuances of identity and the ways that our experiences shape our convictions and our faith, I believe that we must take seriously, as the voices of our prophets, our founders, and our great theologian and teacher, the voices that have for far too long been absent. We must be commanded in the way we shape our Jewish communities, our world, and our own individual conduct by absence. We must be commanded by the voices of queer folk and women, Jews of color and Jews of different bodily and mental ability, Jews with family members or partners of other faiths, voices that have, for far too long, been relegated to the margins of our tradition. For my classmate, friend, and teacher, creating space for voices we have not yet heard is not just a good thing to do, it is a religious obligation. To be a Jew in the 21st century, Rabbi Langowitz teaches us we must seek out voices, even, especially, when that means quieting our own. There is a Kabbalistic belief that before the creation of everything, God took up all the space in existence. In order to create the universe, God would have to make space. So God did an act that the mystics call tzimtzum, withdrawal. God made God's self smaller, and only from there could the universe explode into being. Lesson: when God created space for creative forces, possibility rushed in. I want to share with you a sadness that I have kept inside for more than a year. 2 weeks ago, we observed the first anniversary of the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Of course, there were so many sadnesses in the aftermath of that shooting, but for me, there was one piece of particular pain. As the students of Parkland began to lift their voices, young Reformed Jews from all over the country started calling their rabbis and saying, "What can we do in solidarity?" I heard about these calls from many of my colleagues, but I received none. None of our kids came to Congregation Emmanuel to ask us what we would be doing as a congregation in response to the shooting or the March for Our Lives. Not one. Now, maybe this is because it's Texas and guns are complicated here, and maybe it's because they found other outlets at school or with other groups. But I still hope that even a few might have come to us. And that's when I had the saddest realization of all. I thought maybe they didn't come because we never taught them that we valued their voices on issues like this. Maybe we never taught them that there is a place where they can bring the stories of their pain and their fears and their anger at the injustices they face. Maybe we had never done tzimtzum so that they had no space for their own creative possibilities. And if this is true, then we have not lived up to our obligation to them. So we are working on it. We are working on honoring our obligation to be quiet so that our students can find their voices. We just opened the applications for our second year of selecting a teen representative on the congregation's executive board. And I just got back from taking 9 incredible 11th and 12th graders to the Litakane Social Justice Seminar in Washington, D.C. This is a program of the Religious Action Center, our movement's voice on social justice in D.C. and around the country. They run a weekend-long program where 300 teens from dozens of different communities gathered to learn about the issues facing our country. They heard from policy experts, discovered how to craft and deliver their stories for maximal efficacy, and learned about the advocacy process. They selected the issues that were most meaningful to them and wrote speeches in small groups. Then on Monday, they all went to Capitol Hill to give their speeches in the offices of their senators and representatives. There are no words to express how awed I was by these teens. They delivered their speeches with a confidence and poise that most of us did not have at their age. When the staffers told them that their senators saw things differently, our students stood their ground, respectfully responding off the cuff with facts and figures, Torah texts, and emotional appeals to make sure their elected officials understood why these issues mattered to them. They spoke with wisdom and passion in equal measure. But the most impressive part of all was hearing them tell why these policies mattered to them. Hearing their personal stories that made the case for why they care and why we should care. Because we made space, we heard stories like one from 11th grader Nicole Sachs, who told John Cornyn's office why she cares about immigration reform.
I'm very lucky and so fortunate to attend the Audi International School, a small international private school here in Houston. Because of this, I've been able to meet people who have immigrated from all over the world. One of these people includes my friend Karen. If Congress were to pass the DREAM Act, it would greatly help my friend Karen. She was born in Veracruz, Mexico, but her parents immigrated with her to America 6 months after she was born. They came here in hopes of building a better life for her. Her parents hired an immigration attorney to help them in the process of getting papers for Karen. But along the way, something went wrong, leaving her case pending for years. Lacking papers, Karen has never been able to return to Mexico to see her extended family. Karen has America is the only home she has ever known. Although Karen doesn't have papers, I cannot view her as an undocumented immigrant. I only view her as my friend. Having lived in Houston since she was 6 months old, Karen is one of the most American students at my school. About a month ago, I was sitting next to Karen when she learned that she will soon have to return to Mexico to go through an immigration interview. I remember she started to cry at school, nervous that something would go wrong and she wouldn't be allowed back in America, where she's lived her whole life. This is when I finally realized that Karen lives her whole life in fear that she'll be deported or kept in Mexico. After this realization, I knew that I had to speak on this. I cannot let people in this live in this state of extreme fear when I have the ability to do something about it. Karen is going back to Mexico very soon for that interview. This is going to be her first time in Mexico since her family left. Karen is terrified for this interview. If something goes wrong and she must stay in Mexico, she will leave her whole life behind. She is ready to live the rest of her life here in America with her friends and current schooling. She is currently spending several hours a week preparing for the ACT, preparing to attend college. Karen is so grateful for this country, despite the issues she has faced, and so are her parents. They are thankful every day for all the opportunities they receive living here in the U.S. I'm here on behalf of Karen and all those who are in the same position as her, all those who only know America as their home, but are at risk of having that taken away from them, leaving them with no place to call home.
Our students each shared a story like this, everyone personal and powerful. If you were with us this past week, will you stand up so our congregation can see you and honor you? Stand up. There are 3 of them here. 6 of them couldn't make it, plus the other staff member, Elizabeth, who went with us. These teens are awesome. Okay, sit down. Yeah. These are the kind of stories you hear when you do tzimtzum. These are the stories you hear when you see yourself as obligated to listen and not only to speak. Lesson. When we make space for once marginalized voices, powerful stories rush in. If sharing and hearing stories like this is exciting to you, I hope you'll join us in a few weeks as we partner with Reformed congregations from all over the state for our Austin Advocacy Day. In our Torah portion, it says that the presence of God so fully filled the Mishkan that Moses was not able to enter. If we are honest, this is how it can sometimes feel to lift up other people's voices. It can feel alienating. It can feel like we are now on the outside. And part of being a Jew in the 21st century is learning how to deal with the emotions that come when we strive to center other people's voices. We have to work to understand what this means for our own leadership, just as Moses did for his. But what I know is this. It was the pillar of fiery cloud that rested over the Mishkan that guided the Israelites through the desert. When it would depart, the Israelites would follow it. And that beam of smoke and light that eventually led them out of the wilderness. When we make space for other people's stories, those stories rush in like a big bang, exploding out with radiant light. And that light will serve as a powerful beacon, leading us to the promised land. To our teens, we say thank you for showing us the way. Shabbat Shalom. We continue with Aleinu L'Shabeach at the bottom of page 282 and invite you please to rise as you are able. Page 290. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch. A fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be, and oh, to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was a gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing to love what death has touched. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, life and death. Our hearts go out in sympathy to the families of Madeline Frosch, Florence Flo Berkman, Miles Schumann, and Renee Axelrod Fenberg, who were laid to rest this past week. We also recall the yard sites of Edward S. Astrich Sr., Herman Auerbach, Don Balke, Evelyn Baum, Camille Berman, Walter Betensky, Milton Block, David Blum, Ruth Miller Bosch, Andrea Braver, Linda Calderon, Esther Sensio, Louis Ralph Cohen, Kate Daly, Heinz Joe Denenbaum, Barbara Rolnick Dokel, Jack Dusler, Sam Eisenberg, Harvey Epstein, Philip Farr, Marilyn Feldman, Bernice Mr. B. Finger, Joseph E. Fishbane, Samuel Fisher, Bernard Foy, Arthur Robert Freed, Martin Freed, Irene Fritz Hand, Odell Kaufman First, Sam Gates, Rose L. Ginsburg, Rosalind Golden, Ray Bell Kahn Goldgar, Wilfred Goldgar, Ralph J. Goldstein, Ida Ritchie Goodfriend, Lena F. Goot, Fanny Gordon, Elaine Gorowitz, Bess Greenblum, Josie Heiken, Carl Horton, Rose Krantz Horowitz, Agnes Golden Hunter, Daniel Eiselberg, Morton Jacobowitz, Fanny Jacobson, Marion K. Joseph, Anna H. Kame, Elizabeth Jane Kessler, Mary Annette Crute, Minnie Hoffman Layden, Danny Lavoie, Lulu Leischer, Pearl Lesky, Natalie Lessie, Ben D. Levine, Devura Lewis, Robert Loeb, Robert Lobel, Bernice Mass, Esther Croft Magdis, Sadie Mandel, Ruth Marcus, Michael Marmo, Edward Mermelstein, Jenny Meyerson, Roxanne Meyerson, Pauline Morgenstern, Meyer Nathan, Sibley Newman, Sam Orenberg, Beatrice Orsak, Robert Parkins, Jerome Passon, David Pasternak, Herman L. Phillipson, Louis A. Reichman, Al Resnick, Rosalie Roberts, Shulamit Julie Rosen, Henry Rosenblum, Donald Rosenfeld, Abel Rumsey, Lillian Schiff, Sidney Schindler, Joseph Schnoll, Jean Schwartzberg, Frank Seliger, Sidney Sybil, Ann Latterman Singer, Alvin Al Solomon, Donald Springer, Marga Steinhardt, Lily Sterling, Joseph Stuhl, Edward Suchart, Ruth Ann Sulko, Seth Tenenbaum, Marilyn W. Tritter, Sylvia Weiss, Dimple White, Leon Zainfeld, Ruben Zainfeld, Bernice Zellinga, Dolores Zlotnick, and Saul J. Zucker. If there are others that you are recalling on this Shabbat, or if I've misspoken any of the names on the list, I invite you to share those names as my eyes meet yours. Susan Ellis. We rise together as one community on page 294 for the words of Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, ba'al ma tivrach chirutei ve'al michma chutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'galal v'izman kariv ve'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam omea maya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitchomam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shmei d'kudsha brichu, le'ela mimkol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'ne'emata, ta'amiram be'ama v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromah, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromah, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
From Kaddish to Kiddush, both tasks of sanctification. The words of Kiddush are found on page 5 if you want them. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei puri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, V'ratzavahanu, v'shabbat kodsho, be'ava uratzon inchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher l'siyat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta, Beotanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, b'shabbat kodshecha, be'ava u'ratzon, inchaltanu.
Baruch atah
Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. L'chaim. Oh, it's double wrapped again. All right. It's the unpleasant version of the surprise. All right. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem ha'aretz. Amen. Our closing song this evening is Hine Matov on page 341. How good it is, how sweet it is, together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, our God and God of our ancestors, we know that we are obligated to our silences. Help us learn to listen better. Amen. Shabbat Shalom.